Amani stood at the fork in the road, the sound of her village fading behind her. One path led to the vibrant life of the city, where her dreams shimmered like stars. The other wound back to the familiar embrace of her family traditions. Little did she know that the choice she made that day would change her life forever. In the heart of the lush valleys of Nyumbani, surrounded by the mighty hills of the Maasai, lay a village known for its warm-hearted people and deep-rooted traditions. The villagers lived in harmony, guided by the principles passed down from their ancestors. Among them was Amani, a spirited young woman known for her radiant smile and keen intellect. Amani was the daughter of the village chief, Baba Juma, a wise man with deep ties to the traditions of their people. He often shared stories of their ancestors, who had bravely defended their lands and cherished their customs. As the sun set each day, villagers would gather around the fire, their laughter blending with the crackling flames as Baba Juma recounted tales of heroism, love, and sacrifice. However, Amani had a dream that stretched beyond the horizon of Nyumbani. She envisioned a future where her people could thrive, not just survive. With the rise of technology and modern ways of life, she believed her village could adapt without losing its identity. But the elders were wary, their hearts anchored to the ways of the past. One fateful morning, Amani received a letter from a prestigious university in the city of Mambo. They had offered her a scholarship to study environmental science, a field she was passionate about. Her heart soared at the thought of gaining knowledge that could help her village thrive, but her excitement met with apprehension. "Amani, you cannot leave," Baba Juma said, his voice heavy with concern. "The city is a place of temptation. You will forget who you are." "But Baba, I want to learn. I can bring back knowledge that can help us protect our land," Amani pleaded, her eyes wide with hope. "Knowledge is important, but so is our way of life. You must decide what matters more to you," he replied, sadness clouding his gaze. As days passed, Amani found herself caught between the pull of the city and the weight of her family's expectations. She spent countless nights pondering her decision, staring at the stars that seemed to whisper secrets of adventure. One evening, she ventured to the riverbank, where the gentle flows of water mirrored her thoughts. She noticed the reflection of the full moon shimmering on the surface. A thought struck her. What if she could walk both paths? Amani decided to take a leap of faith. She packed her belongings and bid farewell to her village, promising to return with wisdom. As she arrived in Mambo, the city dazzled her with its light and sounds. The skyscrapers towered above her like giants, and the energy of the people pulsed like a heartbeat. The university was a vibrant hub of ideas and knowledge. Amani immersed herself in her studies. Driven by her love for the environment, she quickly became known for her innovative projects, combining traditional practices with modern science. Her vision for learning was contagious, and she made many friends, eager to share her vision for a sustainable future. Among her classmates was Lazi, a charismatic young man from the coastal city, who shared her passion for environmental conversation. He was quick with a smile and had a way of bringing people together. Amani and Lazi became close friends, often studying late into the night, exchanging ideas about how to blend modern techniques with traditional practices. As Amani thrived academically, a part of her felt distant from her roots. The vibrant memories of Nyumbani, the laughter of her friends, and the stories of her ancestors lingered in her heart, but the pace of city life began to consume her. She often found herself scrolling through social media, watching videos of her village celebrations and festivals, her heart aching for the familiarity of home. After 2 years, Amani returned to Nyumbani for a visit, eager to share her newfound knowledge. The village welcomed her with open arms, and she felt the warmth of home wrapped around her like a familiar blanket. But as she walked through the village, she noticed subtle changes. Some elders no longer gathered for storytelling, and the younger generation seemed captivated by the allure of the city. During a community meeting, Amani shared her experiences and ideas for sustainable farming. We can incorporate modern techniques to improve our yields while respecting our land and traditions, she urged, her voice passionate. However, Mama Zuri, the oldest and most respected elder, stood up. Amani, we have survived for generations without the city's influence. Why should we change now? Our ancestors fought to keep our ways alive. Amani felt a pang of disappointment. I'm not asking you to abandon our traditions. I believe we can blend the old with the new to create something even stronger. The room felt silent, the weight of the decision heavy in the air. Amani looked around at the faces of her friends and family, their expectations a mixture of pride and uncertainty. The tension was palpable, and Amani's heart raced as she awaited their response. Okay guys, at this point, I strongly believe that you're enjoying this story so far. Please do well to subscribe and turn on your post notification buttons so you'll be one of the first persons to get notified every time we post a new video. Thank you so much. Alright guys, let's continue. Just when Amani's younger brother Tunde, who had been questioning quietly, stood up. Sister, I believe in your vision. The world is changing, and if we stay stagnant, we might lose everything. Maybe we can honor our traditions while still moving forward. Amani smiled at Tunde, grateful for his support. The villagers murmured amongst themselves, the promise of unity and understanding flickering like a flame in the darkness. Slowly, other young villagers began to speak up, expressing their eagerness to explore new ideas. Inspired by the support of the younger generation, Amani proposed a community project that involved the entire village. Let's hold a festival that celebrates both our tradition and the knowledge I have gained. We can showcase our craft, share stories, and demonstrate sustainable practices. The villagers considered her idea, and their initial skepticism began to fade. The excitement in the room was palpable as they discussed their plans for the festival. Amani returned to Mambo with renewed determination to prepare, eager to show her village how their traditions would thrive alongside modern knowledge. Weeks later, the day of the festival arrived. The village square buzzed with excitement as colorful decorations adorned the trees and the aroma of traditional dishes filled the air. Villagers set up stalls to showcase their crafts, while Amani prepared a presentation on sustainable farming. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden hue over Nyumbani, Amani stepped onto the stage. Welcome everyone. Today we celebrate our past and embrace our future. Together we can protect our land while adapting to the world around us. The villagers gathered, eager to listen. Amani shared her journey, the knowledge she had gained, and her vision for a sustainable future. She demonstrated how to implement new farming techniques without sacrificing their traditions, illustrating each step with the care of a gardener tending to fragile seedlings. As the night unfolded, villagers shared stories, laughter, and music that echoed through the valley. Amani felt the connection between the past and the present, a beautiful tapestry woven with threads of tradition and modernity. To her delight, Mama Zuri, once skeptical, approached her with a smile. "Perhaps there is wisdom in your journey after all, my child," she said. "You have shown us that we can honor our roots while looking towards the future." The festival was a success, bridging the gap between Amani's two worlds. The villagers embraced her ideas and many began to implement sustainable practices in their farms. Tunde, inspired by Amani's vision, took the lead in a community garden project, teaching younger villagers how to grow crops using both traditional methods and modern techniques. As days turned into weeks, Amani returned to Mambo with newfound confidence, her heart full of hope for her village. She continued her studies, and with Lazi's help, she began developing a plan for a membership and mentorship program that will connect students from Mambo with the artisans of Nyumbani. The aim was to create a network of knowledge exchange where students could learn traditional craft while introducing modern techniques to artisans. Back in Nyumbani, the village continued to flourish. The community garden began and became a place of gathering, laughter, and learning, where villagers shared their experiences and skills. Amani's effort began to bear fruit, literally and figuratively, as the villagers grew healthier crops and stronger bonds. However, Amani's heart still longed for the pulse of the city. Despite her success in bridging the two worlds, she felt a yearning to make an even larger impact. With Lazi's encouragement, she decided to organize a conference that will bring together environmentalists, educators, and artisans from both Nyumbani and Mambo. Amani worked tirelessly to plan the conference, which would showcase the beauty of Nyumbani's traditions while addressing pressing environmental issues. She envisioned discussions on sustainable practices, art exhibitions, and workshops that celebrated the vibrant culture of her village. When the day of the conference arrived, the atmosphere was electric. The village square was transformed into a bustling hub of activity, with colorful banners fluttering in the breeze and stalls showcasing the talents of the villagers. Amani felt a rush of pride as she watched its participants, young and old, come together to share their stories and knowledge. As the conference commenced, Amani took to the stage, her heart racing with excitement. "Welcome to the first Conference of Cultures. Today, we honor our traditions while exploring new horizons. Together, we can create a sustainable future for our village and a new dawn." The audience erupted in applause, their spirits lifted by Amani's words. She introduced the keynote speakers, a mix of esteemed environmentalists from the city and respected elders from Nyumbani. Each shared insights that sparkled lively discussions amongst the attendees. During a workshop on sustainable farming practice, Amani watched in awe as villagers, once skeptical of change, eagerly engaged with the expertise. They asked questions, shared their own experiences, and brainstormed ways to improve their farming methods. Amani's heart swelled with hope. She could see the seeds of collaboration taking root. Later that day, Lazi led a session on the importance of storytelling in preserving culture and passing down knowledge. He spoke passionately about how stories could bridge generations and connecting the past with the future. In every tale told by our elders, there lies a lesson. We must cherish and continue these stories, he said, his voice filled with conviction. The participant nodded, reflecting on the wisdom embedded in their cultural narratives. They realized that while modernization brought opportunities, it was equally important to hold onto the stories that shaped their identities. As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the village square, a figure emerged from the crowd. It was a tall man dressed in formal attire, his presence commanding attention. Amani recognized him instantly. It was Kofi, a government official known for his controversial stance on rural development. Kofi approached the stage, his expression serious. "I have been watching what you have done here today, Amani," he began, his voice echoing through the square. "While I commend your efforts to modernize your village, I must warn you, the government is planning to build a highway through this land. Your village will be affected." Gasp rippled through the crowd. Amani felt her heart sink. The highway could bring development, but it also threatened to disrupt the traditions and lands she cherished. "What do you mean?" Amani asked, stepping forward. "We haven't been consulted yet about this." Kofi nodded. "Unfortunately, decisions are made at a higher level, but if you can prove that your village is moving towards sustainability, I might be able to advocate for your interests. It's not guaranteed, but it's a chance." The weight of his words hung in the air. Amani realized that her village stood at a crossroads. They could either fight for their land or risk losing it to progress. As she looked around, she saw the determination in her fellow villagers' eyes. "We will fight for our land and our future," she declared, raising her fist. The crowd erupted in applause, rallying behind her words. Over the next few months, Amani and the villagers worked tirelessly to prepare their case. They organized meetings, gathered data on their sustainable practices, and documented the rich traditions that define their community. Amani reached out to her friends from the university, including Lazi, who brought students to help with research and presentations. The village transformed into a hive of activity. Young and old came together, sharing stories, teaching traditional crafts, and showcasing their sustainable farming practices. Amani found herself at the center of this movement, her passion igniting a fire within her community. As the day of the presentation approached, the villagers grew nervous but resolute. Amani gathered everyone in the village square one last time before the meeting. "We have fought hard to showcase who we are. Today we stand not just for ourselves but for our ancestors and the future generations who will inherit this land. Let's show them the power of our unity." With that, they set off to the city, determined to make their voices heard. Alright guys, please do not forget to subscribe and turn on your notification buttons, like and share. This is how you can encourage us. Thank you so much. Let's continue. At the government house, a long table awaited them, filled with officials and experts who would assess their case. Amani stood at the front, her heart pounding. The room was silent, the air thick with anticipation. "Honorable members," Amani began, her voice steady despite her nerves. "We are the people of Nyumbani, a village rich in culture and tradition. Today, we ask that you recognize our efforts to blend our heritage with sustainable practices." With her team's support, Amani presented their findings. They demonstrated how their methods not only preserved their culture but also contributed positively to the environment. Lazi and other students shared powerful stories of their experiences in Nyumbani, illustrating the community's resilience. As they concluded their presentation, Kofi stood up, a smile breaking across his face. "What you have shown here today is remarkable. You have proven that development doesn't have to mean the loss of culture. We will work to ensure your voices are heard in the decision-making process." Cheers erupted in the room, and Amani felt a rush of triumph. They had successfully advocated for their village, but the battle was far from over. Over the next several months, Amani and her community continued the advocacy. They established a committee to ensure that their village interests were represented in future developments. They collaborated with government officials, including Kofi, who became an ally, advocating for Nyumbani's sustainable initiatives. As they forged ahead, Amani realized that that their fight for sustainability was more than just about preserving traditions. It was about creating a legacy for future generations. The village flourished and the young generation, inspired by Amani's leadership, took on active roles in community decision-making. The festival grew into an annual event, a celebration of both their culture and modern practices. Villagers invited neighboring communities to join, fostering connections that transcended borders. Amani's vision of unity became a reality as they all learned from each other. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Amani returned to the riverbank where she had once pondered her future. The same full moon illuminated the water, casting a silvery glow over the landscape. Amani smiled, feeling a deep sense of peace. She thought about her journey. She struggled between two worlds, her fight to preserve her culture and the bridges she had built along the way. The whispers of her ancestors echoed in her mind, reminding her that the change is a part of life. Suddenly, she heard footsteps behind her. It was Lassie, who joined her at the riverbank. "It's beautiful, isn't it?" he said, gazing at the moonlight water. "Yes, it is," Amani replied, her heart swelling with gratitude for their journey together. "We did it, Lassie. We have created something lasting." Lassie looked at her with admiration. "You have led this village through strength and vision. Amani, it's an honor to stand beside you." As they shared stories under the stars, Amani knew they were forging a new path, one that honored the past while embracing the future. She had learned that their true progress lies not in choosing one road over the other, but in finding a way for both to coexist. In the end, Amani learned that embracing change doesn't mean abandoning tradition. It's about finding harmony between the old and the new, creating a future that honors both. The journey may be fraught with challenges, but with unity and determination, anything is possible. As she stood at the riverbank, surrounded by the beauty of her village, Amani understood that her roots would always guide her, no matter where the winds of change might take her. Alright guys, this brings us to the end of today's story. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section. Please do not also forget to like, subscribe, share, turn on your post notification buttons. This is how you can encourage us to keep posting more videos. It's entirely free of charge. Thank you so much. See you in the next video. Bye for now.